A single inch of fabric really doesn't seem like a matter of life or death, you know? But if you're outfitting a newborn sleep space, that 1 inch of loose cotton is literally the difference between a safe night's sleep and a major environmental hazard.
Yeah, it's a calculation most people don't even realize they're making, at least not until they're like standing over a crib at midnight wondering why nothing fits the way the pictures promise.
Exactly. And that's why we are doing a deep dive into the surprisingly high-stakes world of infant sleep spaces today. And, well, newborn survival gear in general.
It's a huge topic.
Oh, it really is. And to figure out the mechanics behind all of this, we pulled a stack of really specialized sources for you. We've got official product safety data from baby bedding companies, specifically Joey plus Joan and Sweeve,
Right, and we're also looking at the technical certification standards from the Okikotex Textile Laboratory.
which is fascinating. But to ground all that clinical data, we are cross-referencing it with these massive Reddit threads.
Yes, the Reddit threads are incredible.
They really are. It's just veteran parents detailing the brutal realities and the brilliant problem-solving hacks of the 2.0 a.m. night shift.
The contrast there is just amazing. You have this pristine laboratory engineering of these products on one hand, and then
And then how they're actually deployed in a messy, sleep-deprived living room.
exactly, it's a totally different world.
So if you are expecting a baby, or maybe you're supporting a friend who is, or if you're just insanely curious about the hidden engineering behind everyday objects, this deep dive is going to fundamentally change how you look at a simple bed sheet.
Totally. Because we have to start with the physical foundation of the sleep space. I mean, the material chemistry doesn't matter at all if the geometry is wrong.
Right. So let's look at bassinets, because I think the common assumption is that a bassinet is just a standard, universal piece of furniture,
And that assumption right there is precisely where the trouble begins.
because they're not regulated the same way, right?
Yeah. No, not at all. Cribs operate under these strict, universally enforced consumer safety regulations. Like, a standard crib mattress has federally mandated dimensions in the U.S.
Okay, but bassinets.
Bassinets exist in this regulatory blind spot when it comes to shape and size.
Mm.
Because they're often classified as portable or temporary sleep spaces, manufacturers can basically design them however they want.
Wow. And the variations listed in the Joey plus Joan data are staggering. Like, they categorize a mini bassinet at 14 by 30 inches.
Right.
A standard is 15 by 30, a large is 16 by 32, and then a travel bassinet shrinks all the way down to 13 by 26.
Yeah, and even within that standard category, they point out that individual brands can vary by an inch or two in length or width.
Which is wild. And this lack of standardization creates immediate friction for parents, which is heavily documented in our Reddit sources.
No, absolutely.
Like, you see threads dedicated entirely to the Halo bassinet.
The Halo, yeah, because it features that highly specific hourglass or peanut-shaped mattress.
Right. So parents buy these generic oval sheets only to find the fabric bridging across the indentation in the middle.
Which creates a dangerous trampoline effect.
Exactly. Or there was this Canadian mother on the Baby Bumps thread who was trying to outfit a Photos brand bassinet. She actually took a tape measure to the mattress and found it was 19.5 by 33.5 inches.
Which is nowhere near any of those standard categories.
Nowhere near. It's exactly like buying a case for a smartphone. You can't just purchase a quote-unquote universal phone case.
No, it has to perfectly map to the specific camera bumps and button placements of your exact model.
Right. But if a phone case doesn't fit, it's just annoying. If a bassinet sheet doesn't fit, it triggers a cascade of safety risks.
Yeah, and the Cleveland Clinic identifies loose bedding as a primary environmental hazard in a newborn's sleep space.
Because of the suffocation risk.
Exactly. If a sheet is even slightly too large, the excess fabric bunches up. It creates ridges and folds.
Huh.
And because a newborn has limited neck control,
They can't just lift their head up.
right, if they shift their face against one of those folds, they cannot easily pull away.
That is terrifying. But I want to challenge the rigidity of this rule for a second, just based on the sources. Because in that same Reddit thread, that frustrated Canadian mother actually asked the hospital nurses for a workaround.
Oh, right, the hospital tuck.
Yeah. They told her that if she couldn't find an exact fit, she should just take a standard hospital receiving blanket and tightly tuck it around the mattress pad.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the user suggested buying a slightly smaller, stretchy sheet and just, forcing it over the mattress corners. From a purely practical standpoint, if the goal is a tight surface, those sound like valid mechanical solutions for desperate parents, don't they?
I mean, they might sound practical in the moment, but the physics of those workarounds totally fail under pressure.
How so?
Well, let's look at the mechanism of forcing a smaller, stretchy sheet onto a larger mattress. When you do that, you're pushing the elastic beyond its intended modulus of elasticity.
Okay, so you're overstretching it.
Right. You are creating continuous extreme strain on the microscopic rubber or spandex threads inside the hem. Over a very short period, often just a few days, those threads develop micro tears.
Oh, so the grip just fails.
Exactly. In the middle of the night, the tension gives out, the corner pops off, and you suddenly have a loose pocket of fabric that a wiggly baby can get their head trapped underneath.
Wow, so the tension degrades until it snaps back, creating the exact loose bedding hazard you were trying to avoid in the first place.
Yep. It's worse than just using a slightly loose sheet, really.
Okay, what about the hospital tuck method with the flat blanket?
The Joey plus Jones safety guidelines are incredibly uncompromising on this. Flat sheets and tucked blankets are strictly for older children and adults.
Why is that different?
The mechanism here is about active movement versus corrective movement. Adults and older children subconsciously adjust their bedding if it restricts them during the night.
Right, if a blanket is over my face, I just swipe it away in my sleep.
Exactly. Newborns lack that motor function, but what they do possess is a startle reflex.
Oh, the Moro reflex.
Right, so they kick and wiggle constantly. That mechanical wiggling will inevitably work a tucked blanket loose from under a really lightweight bassinet mattress.
Because the mattress isn't heavy enough to hold a tuck.
Yes. So the absolute rule is manual verification. Do not trust the manual's dimensions. Take a tape measure, measure the length, width, and depth of your specific mattress, and ensure the sheet utilizes full surround elastic so it anchors under all four sides simultaneously.
Honestly, if you're listening to this right now and looking at the bassinet sitting in your bedroom, you might want to go grab a tape measure. Because once you solve the geometry puzzle, you hit the next layer of complexity, which is the material science.
Oh, definitely. A sheet that fits with millimeter precision is still a failure if it's constructed from the wrong material.
Right, because the American Academy of Pediatrics dictates a firm, flat surface, but the textile resting on that firm surface is actively interacting with the infant's biology.
It is. The SWEVE data gets really into the weeds on infant thermoregulation here.
Yeah, that was fascinating. Babies don't have a fully developed biological thermostat, right?
Right. They cannot sweat efficiently to cool themselves down. So if you place a baby on a synthetic blend like a polyester sheet, you are essentially placing them on a woven plastic bag.
A plastic bag.
Yikes. Yeah, because synthetics act as a vapor barrier. They trap the body heat and the moisture against the skin, causing the baby's core temperature to rise.
Which leads to night sweats and broken sleep.
Exactly. But the comfort aspect, while important, isn't even the main issue. The underlying safety mechanism is breathability.
This is the CO2 rebreathing risk factor, right?
Yes. When a baby exhales, they expel warm carbon dioxide. If they're sleeping on a non-breathable synthetic fabric, that heavier CO2 gas doesn't dissipate.
It just sits there.
Yeah, it pulls in the micro-depressions of the mattress fabric. And CO2 rebreathing is a heavily studied risk factor associated with sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDs.
Because an infant's lung capacity is just so small, inhaling that pooled oxygen-depleted air drops their blood oxygen levels very quickly.
Precisely. That's why plant-based fibers like organic cotton, bamboo, or muslin are so critical. They have a porous, microscopic structure.
So they let the air flow.
Right. They allow ambient air to circulate through the weave. They physically disperse the heat. They wick the moisture away from the skin. And crucially, they allow that exhaled CO2 to escape the immediate sleep environment.
Okay, I understand the mechanism of plant fibers being porous, but I have to ask, because if you spend any time shopping for these textiles, you're just bombarded with a wall of specialized terminology.
Oh, the marketing is intense.
Right. Brands throw around terms like medical grade, GOTS certified, or the Ecotech Standard 100.
Yeah.
It feels like an arms race of premium labels. Are these certifications actually measuring a physical difference in the fabric, or is this just an industry creating expensive marketing jargon to monetize the anxiety of new parents?
It's totally healthy to be skeptical of marketing claims, but the Ecotech Standard 100 is an independent, rigorous chemical testing framework. It's not a marketing buzzword.
Really? So what does it actually do?
Well, it does not certify that a sheet is organic or medical grade. What it is a laboratory verification that every single component of that textile has been screened for over 1,000 harmful substances.
Wait, Every component.
Every single one. The cotton fibers, the dyes, the synthetic elastic in the hem, even the sewing threads.
But wait, if a parent buys an organic cotton sheet, isn't it inherently free of harmful substances? Why do you need a separate lab test for the final product?
That's a great question, and it's a huge misconception. Organic only refers to how the raw agricultural crop was farmed. It means the cotton was grown without certain pesticides. It tells you absolutely nothing about the manufacturing process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. A manufacturer can take raw organic cotton and treat it with formaldehyde.
Formaldehyde in baby sheets.
Yes. It's heavily used in the textile industry as an anti-creasing agent, so the sheets look crisp in the packaging. Or they can dye that organic cotton using synthetic dyes containing heavy metals like cadmium or lead.
That is wild.
They can use phthalates in the elastic bands. Oecotex tests the finished, shelf-ready product to make sure none of that is in there.
That makes perfect sense. The label verifies the manufacturing, not just the farming.
Exactly. And this brings us to their classification system, which is super vital for this deep dive. Oecotex categorizes products based on human exposure.
Okay.
And product class 1 is engineered specifically for articles intended for babies and toddlers up to 3 years old.
So it's the strictest category.
By far. The scientific principle guiding the test is that the more intensive the skin contact, the stricter the limit values. An infant's skin is roughly 20 to 30% thinner than adult skin.
Making it highly permeable.
Right. Add to that the fact that babies sleep up to 16 hours a day, effectively pressing their faces and open pores directly into these fabrics. Therefore, product class 1 has the absolute lowest threshold for chemical residue in the entire certification system.
So it is a quantifiable safety metric. That's really reassuring.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say we have engineered the optimal sleep space. We've measured the exact dimensions, secured the full surround elastic, chosen the porous plant fibers for CO2 dispersal, and verified the chemical safety with a product class 1 certification.
Sounds perfect.
The laboratory parameters are perfect. But a laboratory assumes ideal conditions. How does this pristine setup hold up to the biological reality of actually bringing a baby home?
It shatters almost immediately.
Yes, it does.
This is where the Reddit sources provide incredible value. The product manuals explain the clinical assembly, but they offer zero guidance on the logistics of survival.
Yeah, the Reddit threads act as a shared reality check for thousands of parents. Like, let's look at the sheer volume of inventory required.
Oh, the sheets.
Right. A parent might look at a pristine bassinet and assume one fitted sheet on the mattress and maybe one backup in the closet is sufficient. The absolute consensus from the trenches is that 2 sheets is a recipe for disaster. Babies lack a fully developed esophageal sphincter, meaning they spit up constantly.
Constantly.
The Joey plus Joan guide suggests 3 to 4 sheets as a practical minimum. But parents dealing with infant reflux note on Reddit that you actually need 5 to 6 sheets just to outpace the laundry cycle.
Which necessitates one of the most mechanically brilliant hacks found across the parenting boards.
Yes, the structural layering technique.
I love this one.
I analyzed this when reading the threads, and it is a fascinating study in reducing logistical friction. Explain the mechanics of how parents are actually making these beds.
It is designed entirely around speed and low-light operation. Instead of dressing the mattress with a single waterproof protector and a fitted sheet, parents build a redundant system.
Like lasagna.
Basically, they install a waterproof mattress protector and stretch a fitted sheet over it. Then they install a second waterproof protector directly over that first sheet and stretch a second fitted sheet over the top of that.
So it creates a 4-layer tearaway system.
Precisely. When a biological event happens at 2-point-year AM, be it a diaper blowout or severe spit up, the parent does not have to turn on the overhead lights, strip the mattress entirely, and wrestle the high-tension elastic of a fresh sheet onto the board while managing a screaming infant.
Right, which sounds like an absolute nightmare.
It is. Instead, they simply grab the edge of the top sheet and the top protector, peel them both off in one fluid motion, and drop them in the hamper. Instantly, there is a clinically clean, perfectly fitted, dry sleep surface waiting right underneath.
It's like a NASCAR pit stop for exhausted parents. It's about engineering the environment to compensate for severe sleep deprivation.
Totally.
And you see that same pivot from the quote-unquote ideal to the practical in the discussions surrounding swaddling.
Oh, the swaddle wars.
The swaddle wars. The clinical ideal that many parents plan for is the classic minimalist approach, right? Buying a stack of simple muslin squares and learning the hospital tuck to swaddle the baby.
Yeah, which looks great on paper,
But the biological reality is that many babies are what the threads call Houdinis.
They really are. They possess the mechanical strength and persistence to break out of a traditional blanket fold within minutes.
It's crazy how strong they are.
Furthermore, the traditional swaddle pins the arms down by the sides, and many infants have a biological preference to sleep with their arms elevated up by their heads.
Right. So you have parents frantically logging on to Amazon at 3 months a.m. to overnight specialized gear. They are abandoning the hospital blankets for zippered swaddles, heavy-duty Velcro wraps, or those specialized transitional sleep sacks.
Like the Love to Dream brand.
Exactly. The ones that zip up but feature fabric wings so the baby can keep their hands by their ears without startling themselves awake.
It perfectly illustrates the massive gap between the expected plan and the actual biological mechanics of the infant. And honestly, that gap is arguably the widest when the sources discuss feeding.
The feeding realities discussed on Reddit are incredibly sobering. The modern clinical pressure is heavily weighted toward exclusive breastfeeding, and many parents go in fully committed to that plan.
Yeah, they do.
But mammalian biology does not always adhere to a schedule. Multiple parents detailed the sheer panic of waiting 3, 5, or even 7 days for their milk supply to physically transition in.
While the infant's weight drops and their hunger cues escalate, it's incredibly stressful.
Can't even imagine.
Veteran parents overwhelmingly advise first-timers that, regardless of their feeding philosophy, they must keep a small emergency supply of ready-to-feed formula in the house.
Just in case.
Right. It removes the immediate physiological danger to the infant and the psychological terror for the parents during that transition period.
And the supporting gear required to facilitate feeding is an industry unto itself. Even if you're bottle feeding, you can't just use the standard nipple that comes in the box, right?
No, absolutely not. Parents quickly realize those standard flow rates will essentially waterboard a newborn. They have to source specialized slow flow or preemie nipples to match the baby's swallow reflex.
And on the nursing side, parents are sourcing things like silverettes,
Yes, the silver cups.
which are these small cups made of pure silver worn over the skin, utilizing silver's natural antimicrobial and cooling properties to heal severe tissue damage.
They're a lifesaver for many.
And they're overnighting specialized pumping bras, because the physical reality of holding 2 plastic suction flanges to your chest for 3 hours a day is just unsustainable.
It's totally unsustainable, and the peripheral inventory scales up rapidly as well. Consider the burp cloths.
Oh, right. The standard, aesthetically pleasing burp cloths sold in boutiques are largely dismissed by the Reddit community as functionally useless.
They're just too small.
Exactly. The overarching hack is to bulk buy heavy-duty, highly absorbent, pre-fold cloth diapers. They aren't used as diapers, obviously.
Right.
They're just stacked in every room, on every armrest, and over every shoulder as highly efficient utility towels,
You also see a heavy reliance on specialized hygiene extraction tools.
like the booger extractors.
Exactly. Manual or suction-based nasal aspirators like the Nose Frida paired with saline drops. Because newborns are obligate nose breathers, they don't have the reflex to breathe through their mouths if their nasal passages are congested.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so a parent has to mechanically extract that congestion so the baby can eat and sleep safely.
Wow.
And perhaps the most unexpected item repeatedly recommended for the mother's recovery, medical-grade puppy pads.
Puppy pads placed directly on the adult mattress.
Placed under the mother's fitted sheet, yes. To absorb heavy postpartum night sweats and breast milk leaks, protecting the expensive adult mattress from permanent ruin.
That is brilliant. But, when you look at this entire ecosystem, the 4-layer tension sheets, the Obicotex chemical screening, the zippered arms-up swaddles, the silver healing cups, the suction extractors, it really begs an analytical question.
Yeah.
Are we over-engineering infancy? Like, has modern parenting mutated into an exercise in hyperconsumerism? Or is this vast array of specialized equipment simply what basic human survival requires in the modern era?
That's a fair question. But if you look past the branding and evaluate the core function of these items, the unifying theme is the reduction of friction.
Friction, right.
Severe sleep deprivation degrades a human's cognitive processing, emotional regulation, and physical coordination. A perfectly dimensioned Joey and Joan sheet or a zippered sleep sack doesn't make someone a better parent.
It just helps them survive.
Exactly. What it does is remove a critical point of mechanics mechanical failure at 2.0 a.m. It minimizes the friction of the task, preserving the parent's highly depleted energy so they can actually continue to safely function and care for the child.
It's structural support for the parent's endurance, disguised as baby gear.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So if you're listening to this while building a registry, or if you just find the hidden complexities of everyday life fascinating, here are the core principles to take away from this deep dive. Number 1, assume nothing is standard.
Nothing.
Treat the bassinet like a custom engineering project. Take a tape measure to the length, width, and depth of the mattress and demand full surround elastic.
Yes.
Number 2, respect the chemistry. Do not wrap a baby in a synthetic vapor barrier. Demand porous plant fibers with verifiable third-party lab testing like Okotex Product Class 1 to prevent CO2 pooling and chemical absorption.
Critical.
And number 3, prepare for the biological reality. You need structural redundancies like the double-layered sheets, emergency formula backups, and way more heavy-duty cloth diapers than you think is reasonable.
It literally requires parents to master physics, chemistry, and biology simultaneously.
It really does.
But analyzing this rigorous, hyper-engineered approach to infant sleep leaves us with a fascinating historical and really forward-looking question to consider.
Where does the science go from here?
Exactly. We've spent this deep dive detailing how today's optimal sleep space is a tightly fitted, heavily vetted, entirely bare environment. It is engineered around the most robust biometric and safety data currently available to us.
Right.
But scientific consensus is not static. If we look back to the 1980s, the culturally celebrated ideal nursery featured plush, highly padded, blanket-heavy cribs.
Oh, yeah, we look at those photos today and cringe.
You're right, because today we view those environments as incredibly reckless due to our understanding of suffocation risks.
Right, the data changed.
So consider this. Will the stark, bare, and firm standard of today look just as wildly outdated to parents 30 years from now?
Wow.
As we develop advanced, non-invasive biometric sensors or uncover deeper biological understandings of infant respiration and thermal regulation, how might the very definition of a safe sleep space be completely rewritten for the next generation? Will the mattress of the future actively monitor and adjust to the infant, making our current obsession with static firmness look primitive?
That is a brilliant concept to leave on. Right now, the firm, bare mattress is the definitive answer key. But as technology and biology evolve, the rules of the test are bound to change all over again. Until next time, keep questioning the hidden engineering around you.